Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, Chris, how are you doing today, man? Here,
Oh, I'm doing fantastic.
let me take
Fantastic.
this logo.
Just living the dream, you know.
You
Uh,
like your logo sitting up there? Does it look good?
yeah, it looks fantastic. I appreciate you doing that, David. Uh,
I
for those who don't know, hopefully I will have you guys in a future class, or I will have you guys in the in-person meeting if that becomes a fruition. But fingers crossed. But I'd love to tell you the story behind the bunny and what it means. And if you don't know,
Yeah.
or you're itching to know what it means, head over to my website. There should be an about section that you can find that right at, and it tells you a little bit more about it. I know you're thinking, if you haven't seen the episodes before, you're probably thinking, that David, he done messed up again. He forgot to put that M at the end of Mobile Mentors. No, .co is actually built for companies. And so what makes it .co different is it allows it to be a worldwide website. And so anyone can view it. Most of the .com websites are built mostly for the United States. But we want to expand ourselves. We want to help out others. We want to make sure that we are worldwide. And so feel free to check us out at mobilementors.co. And I'd love to get your thoughts, your response, and hopefully I'll see you guys there. But
Chris, if you're worldwide, what is your best secondary language? I've got to know.
My best secondary, well, my native tongue is sarcasm. But if I were to give you my best third language, or I think it's tertiary language.
Tertiary.
I don't know. Anyways, it would be, hello, my name is Tree. I did beginner, intermediate, and advanced classes in sign language, which I think are great. I did also take 3 years of Spanish, which I know un poquito.
Poquito.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know very poco. I think it's poco. It's very
They're both the same.
I don't know. Beat a bop. So yeah, so it's very small languages for me. But sign language would probably have to be my secondary language.
Okay, well, now that I've got that out of you and we've wasted a little bit of everybody's time, I will get out of your hair.
Okay.
Call me if you need me. You know where I'll be.
I will. I'll call you if I need you now. Get on out of here, mister. Hey, guys. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today. In Tech 101, what we're going to do is this, like David may say, if I don't perform super well, they may kick me out. So hopefully you guys will talk about how much you enjoy this, how much you've told your friends, maybe share this, maybe comment this on what you'd like to see next. And hopefully I'll be back for the second installment of this. Now, in case this is our last episode, what I want to do is I want to make sure that we do some recap. I want to make sure that if you didn't get a chance to check out those previous episodes, if you didn't get a chance to see all the different things that we listed beforehand, that you get a chance to do that today here in this lesson. It's going to be kind of a mixture of a lot of different things. But one of the first things that I kind of want to go over is I want to talk about flash drives. These guys are very, very interesting. And I mean that in the sense of there's a lot of uses for them. Some people call them thumb drives. Some people call them USB sticks. Some people call them USB drives. But it is a USB. And what we want to do is we want to talk about how they work, what is the purpose of them, and we want to talk about how do we use them in a daily setting. And so USB actually means a universal serial bus. But unlike the actual big yellow bus, we're actually looking at a electronic component that is going to work in our advantage. Enough of all that technical jargon. Essentially, you take this guy, you stick it in, and it saves your information. But how do we use it? How does it work? How do we get that information that's out there? Now, what's interesting is a lot of USB devices, whether that's your charger or whether that's a lot of things, a lot of people stick them in and they don't really get it in there the first time. Now, I'm going to teach you a little trick. On most flash drives, there is a little section on them that has the USB symbol on the top, and that's the section that you push in. Every time, look at it, you'll see it more than likely. There's a little wired symbol that you'll see, and that's the section that you push in every time. And now you are going to be above and ahead of the game because you're going to be able to get it in the first time, every time. And people are going to be like, that David sure knows what he's doing. He put that USB drive in flawlessly first time. Now, I want to show you what this looks like, and I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to show you exactly how to use a USB drive and how we're able to transfer files, how we're able to copy files, how we're able to duplicate files, all the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you, and you'll probably see a little less of me, which I know I look super handsome today, but bear with me. I'm going to go ahead and show you what this looks like. So I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to do this guy, and we are going to hit share. And so I will minimize this. Now you are seeing my screen. If you're just joining me for the first time, you'll notice this beautiful background. That is actually me right here with my hands in my pockets. I am in Colorado at a place called Dream Lake. So it's very cool. Now I'm going to take my flash drive and I'm going to plug it in the first time flawlessly. And what you'll see is you'll see a little icon that's going to pop up. Now mine actually says latte because I actually got this flash drive when I was working with a client of mine. And we did a latte art showdown where we got to essentially help set up when baristas would design the different coffees. And so it's pretty neat. But one of the things that I'm going to show you is if you click on latte, it actually has nothing in it. There's nothing in it at all. So let's hypothetically say that I wanted to move a file over there. How would I do that? Now, the way that you can do it on whether you're on a PC or a Mac, whatever it may be, is we are going to click and we are going to just drag it over. Now, did you see that little plus sign show up? But wait a second, Christopher, the file that you just dragged over there is still there. So how is it here and here? Because now we can see the file is right there. So let me explain this to you in this sense is when you drag a file over to your USB drive, you are now just copying that file. You're not moving the file. You're copying the file. So now if I were to open this file and I were to right click on it and I were to, let's say, move to trash, am I moving this file to the trash can? No, I'm moving the file that we copied. We duplicated the file. And now what we're doing is we actually have the ability to go back in and choose what we want in here. So let's say that I want this file and I want this file and I want this one as well. And I don't know if you guys are hearing that sound, but that also indicates that those files are going in. So now I can see them all right here. But if you notice, one is kind of upright and the other two are down below. So what I'm going to do is, I don't like the way that looks. So I'm going to show you another feature, which is a folder, which I love folders. If you can't tell by my desktop, I've got a lot of them all over here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click in here and I'm going to hit Command, Shift, and N. And now that's going to be different on everybody's computer. So what I'll do is I'll backspace out of this and I will move that to trash. And I'm going to show you how you can do it from your computer regardless. And so we'll hit File and we'll hit New Folder. And so that should be the same on everyone's. Now, if you have a Mac, you can do that trick, which you hit the Command button, the Shift button, and the N button. And that N stands for New Folder. Now, if you notice on the screen here, we see that untitled folder is already highlighted. And what that means is they are giving us the ability to do something called rename. Now, rename is very interesting because it allows us to actually change the name of the file or the folder, to customize it to what we want it to be. So let's say that I want to make this one called screenshots. So I can then undo this, and now I can pull this over to my screenshot folder just by dragging it on top. And now when I click on my screenshot folder, I've got all three of them right there. Now, if I go back and let's say I wanted to drag this photo right in here, now I have my photo, which I know exactly where that is. And then I know where all three of my screenshots are. Now, Christopher, I bet you're asking on the inside is, what if I need to know what screenshot it is I'm looking at? It's a great question. Now you can do a trick, which I like to do, which is you click once and then you click again. And then when you do that, you don't double click, you click once and then you click again, and it gives you the ability to rename it. Now let's say that for some reason, your computer does not allow you to do that. What you can do is you can go up to your file and you'll right click on it. When you do, it actually gives you the ability to do a whole list of things. Open with, move to trash. You can get info on the exact file that you're looking at. You can rename it, which is what we're looking to do. We can compress it. We can duplicate it, do a quick look. We can even share it with somebody. So if I wanted to send this file over to David, I have the ability to. So let's say that I'm carrying a bunch of photos on my flash drive and I want to share just that one photo. I don't need to put a bunch of photos on my computer when all I want to do is share that one photo. I can share it by email or a whole list of other things here. So I can also add tags, and we'll get into tags a little bit later, but tags are going to be different. I think that's going to be a little bit more of an advanced class that we would need, but that's something that I would say that we need to focus on a little bit later. Now, there's quick actions and set desktop picture, but what I want to do just now is just hit rename. And I will say that this is, let's say this is just payment. I think this is one I did for a client. So now I have spelled payment wrong. So now I can click here and rename it, and I'm going to actually spell it the correct way. I do know how to spell things, guys. I promise. But we now have listed payment. And so now I see I have another confirmation. So now I'm going to click here. Now we'll do confirmation. And how did I do that? I'll go through that one more time. And the way I did it was I clicked on it and then I clicked again. So I'll click off and I'll show you once more. I clicked on it and then I'll click again. And that gives me the ability to go in and say, hey, what is this? What is the purpose of this specific thing that I'm looking to do, and rename it? So now that I've renamed them and I've got them how I want them to, if you are on a Mac, you have the ability to take your flash drive, which is here, which we've been putting all of our files in, and we can actually take them and we can put them directly into the trash can. So what this does is it has now turned into an eject button. So I'm going to show you that one more time. So now I've unplugged my flash drive because we want to make sure that we unplug them safely. So first thing we'll do is we'll plug it back in. First time, flawless. And we should see Latte pop back up just like we did here. And when I drag and I click on it, you can see down in the bottom right-hand corner, that trash can has now turned into the eject symbol. So when I drag it over, it says trash, and I let go, and the Latte actually moves away. So now I have the ability to eject my flash drive without problem, without hesitation. So if I plug it in once more, I'm going to show you what happens when you do eject it. So if I just unplug it, watch what happens. Look up at the top right. Disk not ejected properly. So if that's the case, I can risk losing my files. I can risk not having that particular one on there. Now, it's important that we make sure that we get all of our files on there, because what happens if we didn't copy them? What if we just moved them over? What's to happen? Because now all the files that we want that are protected are gone. Now, a lot of people like to use these for family photos. They'll put albums on here. They'll put a whole list of things, which I highly recommend. I think it's a great way to save space on your computer while also keeping all your memories here. I actually have a few of these. And one of the things that I would recommend is actually buying a larger one. And that larger one is going to be what we like to call an external hard drive. An external hard drive can get much larger. Now, we've talked about this in a previous episode, but we want to make sure that we do something where we back up our information. Now, this backing up of information is very important because a lot of things happen from a computer. Now, a long time ago, things weren't all necessarily dependent upon electronics. Now, we have people who open their garage doors with their phones. They open their hood of their car. The only way to open the hood of a Tesla is to open it with your phone. Bet you didn't know that. But if you did, there's a lot of reasons why people use their phone, why they use their computers, why they use their documents, their tax documents, the breakdown of their financial information, maybe their budget. All of that information is stored on their computer. But we want to make sure that we back it up, and we back it up safely. So with a Mac, you actually have something called Time Machine. And Time Machine is just a fancy name for a program that allows you to back up your information. So if you are going to be in an in-person class, we look forward to having you, and we are excited. And I would love to give you any type of recommendation on an external hard drive. And then I would be more than happy to show you how to back up your own computer with an external hard drive. I'll show you what I do with mine, and then I'll also show you how to do it with yours. But those are in-person classes that take a little bit more in-depth in learning your computer and finding out what's going to be the best option for you. Now, the other thing is we talked about trash. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you one more time to kind of show you what moving things to the trash actually looks like. And I'm going to be right back, actually. All right. I am back, and I want to show you my screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to share our screen, and we are going to get you guys up and running. And so now what I want to show you is if we look in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, we can see that we have an empty trash can. So let's go ahead and put some stuff in there. So I don't think I need this. I don't think I need this really, or this. So I'm going to put those three things in the trash can. Now that they're in the trash can, great, wonderful. What does that have to do with really anything? We've put files in there, and now we've got a full trash can. So people think, hey, I've thrown it in the trash. That's fine. I've deleted it. I've gotten rid of it. But if I've got a trash can here and I take a file, or I take a folder or a document or a photo or whatever that I deemed unworthy or unneeded or unvaluable, and I throw it in the trash can, is it gone? Can I just get it right back? Of course you can. Now, there's an interesting part to that though, and let's dive in. So I'm going to show you what it looks like with my screen, and we're going to go through it. So this is what my trash can looks like now, because I put those 3 things in there. So I've got those 3 screenshots, and I don't need them. But actually, you know what? I actually think I might need this one. So I'm just going to click and drag that one out. And you know what happens? It removes it. And if I drag the other 2 out as well, if you notice, my trash can is now empty. I don't have a full trash can. But what I can do is I can put those 3 right back in. And now it's there. But also keep in mind that when I put something in the trash can, it's there for a certain amount of time, and then the trash gets taken out. So what that looks like for you on your specific machine is going to be different. Now, for me, I have mine set up to 30 days. So if something I have is in the trash can for 30 days, you throw that out. I do not need it. If I would have needed it, I would have went back and got it. So, but just like how you have it with your house, whatever it is, if you put something in the trash can in your house, you can go get that again. But until you take that trash and you actually put it in the trash bin and you set it outside in front of the yard, or the trash company actually comes by, picks it up, or you take it to the landfill or the dump or whatever it may be, it's still there. Now, the thing is what we need to do is, if we're really done with it and we just want to clean up our computer, maybe save some space, what we need to do is we want to make sure that we get rid of the trash. And the way that we do that is we can click right over here on our trash can or our recycle bin, depending on what you're using. If you're using a PC, you do have something called a recycle bin. They're a little bit more earth conscious, but in reality, Apple is a lot more earth conscious, but that's neither here nor there. But now I have the ability to empty my trash can. And so you'll see a button, whether you're on PC or Mac, on how to empty your device. And the way that you do that is you actually click the empty button right here. So once I click empty, it says are you sure you want to permanently erase the items in this trash can? You can't undo this action. So what this is saying, a lot of people, I know what you're thinking, Christopher, I understand what it says. I do. But not everybody is as smart as you. So what this could mean, and what this does mean, is when you push this button, there is not a way to get this information back. It is gone. So do I need these information? I don't think so. If I did, they're gone now. So I can't do anything about it. So I'm just going to pick this stuff up and I'm going to move it over. And now my desktop looks a little bit cleaner. You can see a little bit more of the picture that I've got going on here. And yeah, I think it looks a lot better. And so what I want to do is I want to make sure that you guys feel better about putting things in the trash can. Hey, you know what? I don't think I need this. Let me put this in the trash can. Let me put this in the trash can. Know that it's still there. You can come back to it, but you want to make sure that you check your settings beforehand to know how long you have. You may not need that file, but how you manage things, and I don't want you to be afraid of actually using your computer. Because if you need to delete something or you need to put something in the trash can, put it in there. But you have to realize that you are in control and the computer actually works for you. And so we want to get rid of any fear that we have behind using our computer and files and documents and flash drives and saving information. And we want to base it around saying, I'm in control. I know how to work this, and we are going to get through this together. Also, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to Generations Unlimited, the senior centers, or even to me, and I would be more than happy to help you out. But next thing that I want to touch base on is just kind of go through a little recap of the things that we've done. So far, we've created some folders. We've talked about deleting. We've talked about deleting versus kind of recycling. And so we've talked about when we throw something in the trash can, it's just in the trash. But when we get rid of our trash, we've deleted it like completely. So there's a difference between moving something to the recycle bin and deleting it. So make sure you read that terminology when you're deleting something or getting rid of something that you don't find important. And that way we can make sure it goes to the right place and frees up space if needed. Now, the next thing that I want to cover is I want to basically talk about going into our files, but also I want to talk about email, because I know email is a huge thing for folks. And one of the things that I could honestly say that is going to save you a lot of time and frustration is sometimes email hangs up. Sometimes it just does not want to work for you. It does not want to work the best. Maybe there was an issue with a server or a port, or maybe it just wasn't going fast enough for you. And a lot of my clients, they'll actually go in and try and change something in the settings, and now it's completely messed up and they are terrified. So if you feel like you're not receiving emails, if you feel like you're not getting them as much as you were, if you feel like there may be an issue or it's hanging up, this is the part that you want to listen into. This is the part that you want to make sure that you are 100% there. So what I would recommend doing is, if you're looking at your email on your computer through an app on your computer, such as Mail, or you're looking at it through like a Gmail app or things like that, you have the ability to remove your account, not delete your account, but to remove your account and then reinstall it. So when I create an account with Gmail, for instance, this is when David has Gmail written right here in my hand. If I have Gmail, if I have a Gmail account here, then I have the ability, if I have a Gmail account here, then I have the ability to add it to any of my other devices, such as an iPhone or an Android or a tablet or whatever it may be. And I am transferring that information to Gmail. So what's interesting is all the mail that comes in here, it's coming all right here to Gmail. I am using my phone to grab all this information. So what that looks like is I'm going to show you on my device what it looks like. And so I'm going to use my computer to basically show you how you can take your email off your computer and put it right back on. Now, the key to this, before you do any of this, is I need you to know one thing. Actually, two things. Two things, and then I'm done. Two things. What is your email address? What is your email password? Those have to be known, or else this does not work. Now, some of you are going to say, I don't have an email password. And you're wrong. You do have one, but you may not remember it, and that's okay. But we want to make sure that we know what it is before we delete or we remove our email account from our devices. And so what often happens is we select a thing that's on our computer that says, remember my password. And so now whenever we log in, it automatically puts it in. We don't have to remember it, and we just believe that we don't have a password anymore. But in reality, we actually do have a password. And so if you don't remember what that is, if you do need some help with it, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to help you out. Throw some comments in there if you have any comments or concerns or things that you want to learn in this episode or a future episode that we can talk about. But I'll go ahead and get into what that looks like. Now, keep in mind, I am showing you on the computer that I'm currently using, which is a Mac computer. And so if you don't have one of those, don't fret. We will definitely go over it. It is mostly the same principles, but we'll go into it a little bit further. So I'm going to share my screen with you once more, and we'll look at it. And so I'm going to get this going, and we'll make sure that you guys see everything that I'm working with. And what I'm going to do is first, I'm going to go into something called System Preferences. So I'm going to click here, and we can see now that I actually have this thing called Internet Accounts. And I'm going to highlight that a little bit more. Internet Accounts. So when I click there, I can see I've got a list of different ones here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on let's see. We'll do this one. This is my business one. So I'll just delete it. Are you sure you want to delete the account? And this just means that I'm removing it from the computer. So that is no longer on the computer. So now if you look, I don't have that listed there anymore. So if I go to Google, I can click on there and say I want to add this in there. It asks to open my browser. I say yes. And so let's say that I was not receiving information or I wasn't receiving the emails that I thought I was going to. So if I type in my username, which is Christopher at mobilementors.co, and I go to type in my password. Now, I'm not going to use this one below here because that would be cheating. That's not fair. And so we want to make sure that we remember our password. I really hope I remember mine, or else I'm going to look really foolish. So, got it. That was a close one. So now I've gone ahead and put this in. And if you notice, it says, what apps do I want to use? I want my email, I want my contacts, my calendars, and my notes to all sync over. So I'll hit done. And that way it puts that over there. And now all my email has just been refreshed. It's just been updated. And now I have all that information right there at my fingertips. And I know that I am going to be up to date. So now this is kind of a last resort. This is not something that I want you to do frequently. There's also a refresh button that comes with any email server that you use. So if you're using Gmail, Yahoo, Bell South, AT&T, Comcast, any of the above, there's a button that says get new mail or refresh mail or something of that nature that's going to allow you to have the ability to get new incoming mail. But if you haven't received mail in a few days, then there may be an issue, and you may want to see what that is. It may be just typing in your password again, but also we want to realize that it may be an issue with the server or the port or something is going wrong. And so let's make sure that we know how to now add our email and subtract our email in case we ever need to. That way we have all our information and we can communicate really well with both our email and our files. Let's see. Oh, I just got a notification. It is somebody's birthday today. Not mine. But now, I'd love to bring David back in here and just kind of see what he's up to. There he is.
I haven't gone anywhere.
He's right here, folks. They said that he was gone, but he's not. He's still here. So, David, over the things that we've covered today, what is something that you think would be most beneficial for those at home to learn a little bit more about?
You know, I think given my personal experience, I have a grandmother who is 93 years old, and and she lives in Canada. The best way that we have to communicate with her is email. And I think that a lot of people maybe don't learn email because they don't have to. She was one of those people that had to, or else she couldn't really communicate with her family. But now during COVID, all of a sudden it's important for people to understand how to communicate wirelessly. I think that email is the easiest way to kind of get started on that, because it works the same as like a Facebook Messenger, even like texting on your computer. It's all the same kind of concept. So if you can really get email down, then I think it really helps you be prepared to do the other things that can help you stay in touch with people.
I think that's a great idea. So why don't I kick David back out, and we're going to go into email just a little bit more. So, all right. So folks, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up a new tab, and I'm going to make sure that I share that with you guys so you see the whole process. So we'll go in, and I will pull up this new tab for you, and I will start to share it. So I'm going to go into my email, and so we're going to just go to gmail.com. And it is already loading up my Gmail account. Now, this is just one of them that I use. This is just a personal one that I use for streaming. Now, what we have here is, remember that refresh button that I actually spoke to you guys just maybe a few moments ago? That button is going to be located right here. Now, this allows me to refresh my screen and see if there are any new emails that I've missed out on or that I should be receiving. And it looks like there weren't any. Now, the reason why I'm able to tell that is if I push this refresh button, we notice there's a button right up top or a ribbon that comes up that says loading. And it loaded up and there was nothing there. Now, the next thing that I want to mention to you is something that I mentioned previously, and that's on deleting emails or getting rid of them. So if you notice, I've got 118 emails, which isn't a terrible amount, but I'd like to be cleaned up a little bit. So I actually can click right over here. And what this does is it highlights 50 of the conversations that I have. So I've actually have the ability to delete all of these if I want to. So I'll go in and I see a couple of them have got stars by them. So I'm going to uncheck those that have the stars by them. And I am going to hit this delete button. And then it just deletes all 47 of those, 46 of those right there. So then I've got the ability to delete multiple emails at a time. Now, I also have the ability to compose. So if I click compose, that gives me the ability to write my email to whoever I would like. So if I wanted to send an email, what I would do is I would choose first who I want to send it to. So let's say I want to send it to David. So I'm just going to say David at david.com. That's not his email. So if you send that, it's not going to work. But it's just an email that we're going to use currently. Now, there are these two little symbols right here that I want to mention to you. This is what's called a carbon copy. Now, if you are a little bit older, then you probably remember the old forms that were sent out that were white, yellow, and pink. And so they were these carbon copy forms. And so when you wrote on one, it had the ability to be torn off, and you could give one to your friend, and you can give one to your tax lady, you could give one to whoever. So it was a process, and you had these three forms. So then when you went home, you could say, hey, I gave this person this form. This is exactly what it said, and it is a carbon copy. It is an exact replica of what I sent. And so if I want to include, let's say I want to include my new friend Erica, I'm going to guess that she spells it with a C-A. Could be wrong. She could be spelling it with a K. But I'm going to say Erica at erica.com. And then my other friend, but I don't want everybody to see this other person's email. So I'm going to do this BCC. Now, BCC stands for blind carbon copy. And blind carbon copy, where is she's going to get this, but nobody else is going to know that she got it. So I'm going to hit BCC, and I'm going to put in Lisa@lisa.com. So Lisa hangs out in the background. Not everybody knows what she's doing, but she's very important. She makes sure everything gets taken care of, and she wants everybody to see it. So if I look at my email now, I can see all the people that are going to receive the email, and then I even see the blind carbon copy of the person that's going to receive it, but not everybody's going to know about it, is going to be Lisa@lisa.com. Subject is going to be, how cool is David really? And then I actually want people to vote on it, or I want people to kind of give me their thoughts and say, so I'll put thoughts. So the first part is the subject, and that's what the email address is going to be about. Then this is our body. This is where you actually write the full length of the text. You have the ability even below here to change it to David ? And then we'll highlight this, and we can even make it bold. We can even underline it. We can even go in here and change the color of the background, and we'll say that we want it to be purple, and we want the text to be pink. So now that looks hideous. Let's change that up, because I can't even, my eyeballs can't even read that. Yeah, let's just do that. Wow, that hurts. So then let's say I don't want it to be on the left side. I want it to be on the right side, or I want it to be in the middle, all right there. But then we can even list certain qualities about David by saying we want to make a list. We could say funny, we could say good hair, we could say dad jokes. We could list all of those. And so now if we notice that we've got bold, it's underlined, it's in the color that we want, and it's already been numbered for us based on how we want it to be. So then I can go in and I can turn this off, turn it back on. I can come back down here, say that I want to start something else that's not numbered. But you know what? Maybe I just want to change the whole look of the font. So I can come here and click on the font, and I'm going to change it to Georgia. No, we're not in Georgia. We're in South Carolina. So let's get out of there. We'll maybe make it David's favorite font, which is Comic Sans. But that's a little too small for us to read. So let's make it a little bit bigger. So we want to go in here and we want to click on huge. So now I can make it larger, and I'm going to see what everybody else sees. And I've got this all listed right here. Now I can also add a photo. So if I'm sending an email and I want to attach a photo, you should have a button that says attach files. I can go in there, click on it, and it will give me the ability to search my computer and find that there. I can add a link if I so needed. Emojis, I can add in my Google Drive or a photo. I have confidential mode, and I can even put in my signature if I like. But I can then click over here, this little ellipses, and I can label it if I want to. I can put it in plain text, print. But anyway, we've got everything that we want, and we can actually hit send it off to them. Or I can do what's called a schedule send. So let's say that I have an important function that I'm trying to attend, but I'm always working. And so I have the ability to go ahead and knock out all my work ahead of time, and then I can send that when I want to. Or if you're like me, I'm a little bit of a night owl. So what I like to do is I like to go ahead and do all this work at night. And then when I get done, I actually have the ability to go in and say schedule send. So I can send all my emails at 8 a.m. All of my emails go out at 8 a.m. and they're like, man, that Christopher, he is up. And he is working and he's moving. He probably got up at 5 o'clock that morning. Nope, that is not the case. But I have schedule send. So now I can click on schedule send, and it'll say, hey, when do you want to send this? Tomorrow morning, this afternoon, or Monday morning? So I can actually pick basic times, or I can pick a date of time. So I can say tomorrow is when I want to send it. and I can actually choose the time or choose the date. I can come in here and I can say I want it to send at 8 a.m. Boom. So I want tomorrow at 8 a.m. I can hit schedule send and it will send it off for me. No problem. But since these aren't real emails, I don't really want to send these off because I don't think it would go through. So I am going to just click close on that. But if you notice one thing, when I start an email and it doesn't seem to go through all the way, what happened to my left-hand side? Look over here. You can see we've got one draft. If I click on my draft, I can actually see the email that I never finished because I just removed it. I didn't delete it. So now if I go down here, I can actually say discard. So I can click right here on it and it discards it. So if I look here, I can actually look in my trash because just like before, when we throw something away, it goes into the trash can, but it does not leave until we empty the trash. So this is just a safeguard to make sure that we don't get rid of stuff that we don't need. So we've listed here all the things that we had before. So what I can do is I can actually go in here and I can select all these. Select all 146 conversations. And then I'm just going to go ahead and click delete forever. So that's a whole lot different than throw in the trash can. This one says delete forever. So I can click delete forever. And I hit OK. And now it's deleted all these messages. And there's no conversations or no emails left in my trash. So I can go back to my inbox and I know that all the messages I've deleted are gone. And all the messages I want to keep are there. So now that is what I've got when it comes to using your email. What I'd really love is to gather any questions or concerns or comments from you guys to answer in these next 4 or 5 minutes. But other than that, I think that's most of what I have for you today. If you enjoy this, please be sure to let Generations Unlimited know, or the Blackville or the Gail Reyes Senior Center, and say, hey, we want more of this. Maybe we want an in-person class. We'd be more than happy to come out to you guys and get you squared away. We'll use all the precautions necessary, but I'd love to bring David back in. And if you guys have any other questions, be sure to let me know and we'll get started. But
Chris, I just want to say, hopefully this isn't the last time that we're going live for Barnwell Senior Citizens, but if it is, it's been a pleasure to work with you on this project. I really appreciate what you've been doing. If anybody wants to learn more about any kind of technology, we've got his website on the bottom, as he mentioned at the front of the show. The .co is on purpose. This is not a me thing. I was awake this morning when I typed that. Mobilementors.co is his website. Chris, thanks so much for being here, man.
Thanks for having me. Talk to you guys soon.